It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Robin Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendu. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's been a very, very busy week politically here in Nigeria. A lot is happening. The topic of zoning is still big in the political landscape. Several meetings and caucuses and just, I don't know, so many things are happening. But it still looks like we don't have a headway yet as to what the parties, especially the two major political parties, will be doing with regards to how they zone the presidency of the country. A lot of talk has come out of the Southwest APC leaders meeting. We're still waiting to see what will come out of that. Of course, the PDP is still going through its own battles internally, but we're counting down seriously to the primaries of the political parties as the deadline of the Independent National Electoral Commission draws close. Very, very interesting and tense times, maybe, for a lot of them to see how things turn out, especially with the number of aspirants we have across board. But on the flip side, of course, are the citizens who are going to be voting, and a lot of people are wondering, you know, how much they are going to need to do with regards to, you know, making sure that this process works. There's a lot of questions still left unanswered by a lot of people with INEC with regards to voters, with the PVCs, and, you know, just how things are going to work out. And I'm joined now by someone who hopefully can give us a lot of the answers to our questions. Is the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner for Lagos State, Mr. Olusegun Agbaje. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
You're very welcome. The PVC conversation is almost never ending. And I just wanted to find out from you where, with regards to, there's a lot of rumors, let me put it that way, because we've heard allegedly from certain candidates saying that old PVCs are invalid and people will need to re-register again. And it keeps coming back. And people are wondering, where is that notion coming from? What is the situation with people like me, for example, who voted in the last election, still have my PVC, and I haven't moved polling booths? What do I need to do? Am I re-registering? Am I verifying? What's the process for those? Let's start with those who already have their PVCs. Is it invalid at this point?
The Commission has come out on several times to indicate that there is nothing like invalid in INEC's PVCs. Just like you said, I also have my old PVC, which I used in 2011, and which is still very much valid. So we believe most sincerely that we don't know where the noise is coming from, but we have already repeatedly said it, that our old PVCs issued are very, very valid for this coming election and even for future elections. Okay. Until the Commission comes out with a new development, the old PVCs are very, very valid.
Thanks for clarifying that. So now, with those who are registering, there's a lot of questions and worries. You know, I know people who have registered online maybe in the last month or so, and we hear several deadlines. We're not sure what these deadlines are. So is online registration still open? Why is the wait time still as long as it is? And how long do people need to wait to collect? And where does the collection happen? Because there's a lot of conversations about not getting enough feedback from INEC with regards to collection times for those who are just newly registered to vote.
Well, I mean, just about a couple of weeks ago, the Commission came out with a statement that those registered between June last year and December last year, their PVCs were released just before Easter. Immediately after Easter, we started doing the people started collecting. In fact, on Wednesday, immediately after Easter, in Lagos State, where I oversee, where I did the symbolic presentation of those cards of those who came to collect in Koshofi and Show local government areas. And we have started in all the 20 local government areas in Lagos State to give out the PVCs.
Yeah, but this process seems very tedious because I know someone who moved from the Festac area to Surulere and tried to start the process of moving and said it was a little too cumbersome, and he has resigned to fate and said he's not really interested in voting.
He cannot afford to refer to fate.
How easy is this to move your polling booths? Let's talk within states now before we even go across states.
That's what I was about to say, that even if you want to move your polling booth from Lagos to Maiduguri or Calabar, it is the same thing as moving from Surulere to Yaba. So, I mean, even after Yaba...
Okay, so what does the process entail?
Well, if I said that you come physically to our office, or if you go online, we have said it severally, you go online, cvr.inec.gov.ng. or you use cvr.inecnigeria.org. Any of those two, you can register online. Having done that, then you need to come to a place just to do the biometrics, which is to capture your finger tips and then the facial. Okay. Once that is done, then we'll give you a time, because like I said, those registered last year for 6 months, their PVCs are already out. And those registered between January this year and June 30, when the exercise is going to be concluded, they will be told when to come out for their own PVCs. We announced it in Lagos State that we have started the collection. We started last week Wednesday, immediately after Easter. So we have spent 1.5 weeks now in Lagos State for people to come and collect their PVCs. All the 20 local government areas, people have been coming. Even the old PVCs, in Lagos State, we still have over 1 million cards to be given out.
Still uncollected.
But you do know that we cannot get people to collect all this, because, you know, there are so many higher institutions in Lagos State where students registered and they left before the PVCs came. Some maybe either company or government officers who are transferred. And then we also have people that have died or gone out of Nigeria. So we don't expect people to come and collect PVCs, but at least about 40% of them, we think that people will still come and collect them. But the new PVCs have started arriving.
Yeah.
The exercise is still ongoing. It will end on the 30th of June this year.
Okay. One question about, if your PVC is not ready by election day, are you still able to vote, even if you are now a registered voter but you don't have the card? You
cannot vote, because definitely if your PVC will be the only guarantee that can vote in an election. But the Commission is doing everything possible to make sure that all those that have registered will get their PVC.
Or if you lose your PVC, for example, before
it's part of the exercise we are doing now. Yeah. It's not just for those who are 18 years and above, but those who have lost their PVCs, those who PVCs are defaced, those who PVCs could not be used in the past election, who had some challenges here and there. We have had people that have been coming, complaining, and they are registering for me. We are registering them so that they can get new PVCs.
Okay. So let's talk about the electronic voting now, which a lot of people seem to be looking forward to and wondering how it's going to work. First off, people are wondering why are we jumping to electronic voting when it looks like with the registration itself, it seems like we've not still figured it out. Like you talked about people in higher institutions, for example. There's the constant question of why can I not register somewhere and vote somewhere else? Why is that such a big deal? Why can I not register in Lagos and say, okay, but I will be in Yobe on election day, so put me in as a Yobe registrant?
That's right.
Why is that still impossible?
If you are registering now and you know they're going to be in Yobe, then you should put Yobe as your point of collection. If that is done, you go and collect your business office in Yobe by the time you have to collect it, okay, so I can vote there. But then about the issue of why are people not able to vote, that is the law. The law says
those who are going to do these registrations are being told constantly, you have to go to where you are going to vote to register. This is the first time any of us are hearing it.
No.
These are conversations that everybody has heard.
No,
where they say
you
have to go back to where you know you're going to vote.
No, you can register here, go and then collect your PVC in Calabar.
When did this start?
Since we started in June last year. People in Calabar can register to come and collect in Surulere here in Lagos. So we said this since last year.
So is that burden on you guys now? Because the belief by everybody is that you have to go back. Because people are saying, no, I can't do my PVC because I'm in school or I'm on holiday and I can't vote where I am.
Like students who are in UNILAG now, if they are voting and they know that they will be on holiday doing something, that they will be in a particular state. So when there is column there, the address they will give will be that state address, so that is where they will collect their PVCs. They will give the local government and so on. Their PVC will be directly at that local government office when the PVCs are ready. So that has been the way we have been operating for a long time, not just last year. We started a long time, more than 5 years ago.
No, that's not possible. I remember registering in 2019, and people were told specifically, register where you will vote. This has been your message.
That is the same thing. You
register where you will vote.
You can register here, but where you will vote.
So it means your communication in your organization is not doing their job, because honestly,
it is correct.
The conversation has been
it is you that are not getting it right. You can register here, collect in Ibadan, or collect in Akure, or any part of Nigeria. That has been the method of registration. It is only that you are registering here, but you are not voting in Lagos. So the forms you are going to fill will indicate all that. And when the form, as we are doing that, it's also reflected in the portal in Abuja. So by the time they are printing, your PVC will be at that state, the address that you have given. That's why you collect your PVC. And that is why you're going to vote.
Let me go back to the election itself, because there seems to be a lot of conflicts with regards to what the Constitution says, what the party constitutions also say. Specifically now, because we're hearing stories about some people might be trying to move their primaries, the dates of their primaries. What is the deadline of INEC for submission of party nominations? We want to get that clear with regards to when is the deadline.
The commission has said it severally. In fact,
Okay.
last week, there is another state press release came out again that by 12 midnight of 3rd June, that is when this thing is going to close. There are candidates that have emerged in a legally conducted primaries must be submitted to INEC
By the 3rd of June.
By 3rd of June this year.
For all parties across
For all parties,
office.
all the 18 political parties
Okay.
that are fielding candidates for the coming elections.
For all positions, not just the presidency.
For the presidency.
For the presidency.
Yeah, for
what
the
are the
presidency.
deadlines for the others?
The other ones, they will take a little, I don't have the details now, but the governorship is still ahead because they are not, it's the governor presidential that will come first because it follows that the presidential election is coming first with the National Assembly election in February next year, and then by March you have governorship and state assembly election.
Okay. What are some of the rules with regards to, qualification of candidates? Because I don't know if this is really INEC's position to say, but a lot of talk has come about, certain candidates who are running and are still holding public office. Is that something that INEC considers when a nominee is presented, as a nominee or as a candidate for a party?
Well, since the primaries have not been concluded, if primary is concluded and the candidate emerges that is still holding a particular office, and during the process, because we are still they are in court, so until that court judgment finally comes out, before we know where we are going.
Who is in court?
PDP has still gone to court, and then we are waiting for the appeal court because there was a judgment somewhere in the east about this issue of section 8412 of the new Electoral Act, which people have also gone to court to challenge. So, and it's on appeal. So we believe the appeal will start any time from now. And once the judgment is given, those who are supposed to vacate their position before taking their forms, then they will know what happens to them next.
So it
and
depends on the court judgment.
When the commission sees the judgment, it will take a position, it will meet, and then let people know it's a decision.
Okay, fair enough. This diaspora vote has always come up as a conversation, and I know that it's something that a lot of people are wondering, when are we ever going to get to that point, considering the huge number of diaspora Nigerians who we have who are very interested in Nigerian politics?
It's also a constitutional matter. So
the question, I get you, but I just want to know your position on it, considering the fact that we can give Nigerian passports internationally. Why is voters' cards such a big deal? Why do you think?
If the law is amended and the INEC has to do it, INEC definitely would do it.
Does INEC have the capacity? Because that's the question. Is it a capacity issue for INEC?
It is never a capacity issue. Even if you are to start electronic voting in Nigeria today, INEC will get people to be trained, and then you can do it. But if the law has not enabled INEC, there is no point for INEC to start wasting time on things that are not supported by law.
Yeah. So you are the INEC resident commissioner for Lagos State. Yes. What's in place with regards to elections in Lagos? I ask this because specifically for you now, considering the fact that across the country there's a lot of security fears, especially around elections. But the last year plus around the country has been particularly, tense. And people are wondering how worse things can get when the elections proper come around. What's INEC's plans? There are people who are already saying they're not going to be around in Nigeria or come out at all if they're in Nigeria, leave their house, because they are worried already before the elections even commence. This is something that is seen as part of what you should be doing to sensitize people to understand that INEC has the capacity to keep people safe. What sort of plans are you making, especially for your Lagos State?
There are laws on what INEC should do. There are things that are also beyond INEC. But INEC has gone a little forward to ensure that those things that are not even within our capacity, that we try to also make sure that we get those who are in charge to also do what they need to do. And that is why there is this issue, the body called ICES. ICES means Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. That means where the chairman of INEC is also the chairman of that body, and the National Security Advisor is the co-chairman. And in every state of the Federation, the resident electoral commissioner is the chairman, and the commissioner of police, who is the lead agency in security for election, also is the co-chairman of that body in all the states. So since I came here on the 1st of March this year, I've been moving around, having gone around all the 20 local government areas to see things for myself. I've also started meeting the various stakeholders. I've made the military, comprising of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Commissioner of Police, Immigration, Correctional Service. This week, I'm also continuing with customs and other agencies that are within that body to also sensitize them to know that very soon we are going to inaugurate that body for Lagos State, preparing ourselves for the election. As we are doing that, we're also looking at the areas that are seen as flashpoints for us in previous elections. Right, security agencies are also doing the same thing. So by the time we now meet, we try to harmonize all these areas, and then for the security agencies to be able to take adequate precaution in those areas, particularly in Lagos State.
Well, how do you get this message across to people? Because I asked, are you satisfied with INEC's communication generally? Because there's a lot that's out there, and a lot of it is not officially from INEC. And a lot of your clarification don't even get across to people.
There is no time that I have met various groups, either political party leaders or even the press, since I came to Lagos, that we have not raised this issue of security, that ISS is doing a lot, even before the inauguration of the board, because all the agencies that have been met one by one, they also assured us of what they are doing. The military, even though they are also always at the back seat, because the military, they don't operate without their arms. And international convention does not allow arms to be brought near the polling unit. But they have roles during election. But the Commissioner of Police, who is also going to be, who is the co-chairman of that body in Lagos State, who is going to be, who is also the lead agency in election security, is also doing a lot to ensure that all the areas that are mapped out as sensitive areas or flashpoints are also taken care of to ensure that we do not have serious problems. And besides that, a lot of enlightenments are still going to take place beyond what we have done before. So let people know that you don't even need all this.
What are some of the flashpoints in Lagos? Because we noticed a lot of, I think there were parts of Amuwo, there were parts of, I think, Surulere, I'm not sure, where there were incidents.
Even Oshodi Solo
as well. So what are you doing differently in those places this time around?
That's what I'm saying, that we are meeting security agencies, and regularly the various electoral officers in the local government areas also meet with the body in their own respective areas. So help them also harmonize to ensure that their various jurisdictions are also safe for election.
Okay. How many registered voters do we have in Lagos now? How many new registrants have we had since the last election? And if you have the numbers.
177,639.
The new registrants.
177,000. As at Monday last week, when the figure came out from my contact, by tomorrow we'll know the latest one.
So what's the total number now of registered voters in Lagos?
Well, you have to add that to what we had before, which was 6,570,291 that we used for the last 2019 general election. So in addition to that, we now have 177,639.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. But I think my biggest takeaway from this is that there's a lot of communication that still needs to happen. A lot of people seem to have so many questions and never know where to find the answers.
But the answers are...
Just call the website again so that people can know where to go to.
Okay, the website is inec.gov.ng or inec.nigeria.org.
So they go there, they can find how to register and all the information about the coming elections.
All the things they need, they will get on those areas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Resident Electoral Commissioner, and good luck with everything. We are looking forward to a great election season, and hopefully everything goes well.
Have we finished?